bent double, like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through the sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on bloodshod. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of gas shells dropping softly behind. Gas! Gas! Quick, boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time, but someone still was yelling out and stumbling and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea, I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face, like a devil's sick of sin. If you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile, incurable sores on innocent tongues. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie, dulce et decorum est, pro patria mori.
In 2014, Stockton started a process to remember the 1,245 soldiers listed in the town's Book of Remembrance. We wanted not only to remember their deaths within the course of the Great War, we wanted to reflect upon and uncover the stories of their lives. Because on August the 4th, 1914, those lives and the history of the world changed in the most extraordinary way. And so, in 2014, Stockton grew sunflowers. Sunflowers of all different shapes and sizes, of different colours and different varieties. As the flowers grew, we tended to them and helped them to live, each one representing an individual life of a Stockton hero. And then, in an act of tragic community symbolism, on August the 4th, we cut the flowers down. Some strong, well established, some tiny, only just beginning to grow. We cut them down, and over a 3-day period, the flowers were brought together, and we shared the stories, over 1,000, that we had uncovered about our 1,245 sunflower soldiers. Tears were shed, and a commitment was made that remembrance should not be a temporary one-off event. Remembrance should be about legacy and about learning and about making a difference. And so began a 5-year project that has continued to remember the lives lost, but help us all to remember and empathise with the lives of those living amongst us today. War began in 1914. Stockton's first fallen soldier was a young lad from Lawson Street called John Hardy. He was recently married. He died just 3 days into the war. Not long after, a Tylery lad called Thomas Hughes, married with a little baby girl called Emily, was also killed in battle. 10 days earlier, he had written a love letter to his family, and on his ship on the English Channel, with no means of posting it, had put it in a green ginger beer bottle with a note asking that if it was found, it would be handed to his family. In 1999, a fisherman in the River Thames found the bottle, and on reading its contents, resolved to deliver it to Thomas's daughter. He discovered that she and her mother had emigrated to New Zealand, but undeterred, Steve flew the 11,000 miles to Emily's new home and knocked on a door. Thomas's baby girl, now 85 years old, wept as Steve handed her the letter from her daddy. That story inspired our installation today, as 50,000 recycled bottles were collected, cleaned, pressed and placed together by a community production line led by the inmates and staff of Home House Prison. Each bottle became a petal, and each flower symbolises a life lost. The Stockton community has truly united to pay our last tribute to those who died for us. By the end of 1914, John Hardy and Thomas Hughes were two of 32 lads killed from our town. They were just like us, ordinary, hard-working, big-dreaming lads who walk the streets of Stockton town as we do today. Each one of them a hero, a working-class hero.
Working-class hero is something to be. A working-class hero is something to be. As soon as you're born, they make you feel small by giving you no time instead of it all, till the pain is so big you feel nothing more. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero at the top, they are telling you still. But first you must learn how to smile as you kill. If you want to be like the folks on the hill. Our working class hero is something to be. Our working class hero is something to be. When you're sent off to fight but you don't know what for. Your family's crying, their hearts are so raw. But your country needs you to die in a war. Our working class hero is something to be. Our working class hero is something to be. Our working class hero is something to be. Our working class hero is something to be.
They said that the war would be over by Christmas. Thousands of men and boys and signed up as reservists, thinking they would never have to go and fight. Many teenagers lied about their age, seeing the army wage and chance to be a hero as an adventure. There were queues around the block, and lads like 16-year-old William Ransom from Webster Street, close to where we are standing tonight, joined up. He died, aged just 17. Soldiers and families at home would come together and sing songs to unite and lift the spirits. One such song, originally entitled "Till the Boys Come Home," was penned by Ivor Novello. It became popular as people likened it to the Christmas Carol in the bleak midwinter. But Novello's song was one of hope and waiting. Sons, brothers, husbands and fiancés would kiss their families goodbye and dream of the warmth of the fireside and the flickering candles they would return to. They answered the call, but by the end of 1915, another 166 Stockton lads would never come home.
While your hearts are yearning, though your lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark cloud shining. Turn the dark cloud inside out till the boys come home. Keep the hope fires burning while your hearts are yearning.
1916 stands out as the year when the true horrors of war began to become even more clear. The first day of the Battle of the Somme in northern France was the bloodiest day in the history of the British Army and one of the most infamous days of World War I. On the 1st of July 1916, the British forces suffered 57,470 casualties, including 19,240 fatalities. British and German troops faced each other's trenches, only separated by a few hundred yards of no man's land. The British generals staged a massive artillery bombardment and sent 100,000 men over the top to take the German trenches. They were confident of victory, but the British soldiers were unable to break through the German defences and were mown down in their thousands by machine gun and artillery fire. This day set a bloody precedent. The Somme campaign wore on for 5 months. And in all, more than 1 million soldiers from the British, German and French armies were wounded or killed. Stockton had lost 306 more men.
Well, how do you do now, young Willie McBride? Mind if I sit down beside your graveside and rest for a while neath the warm summer sun? I've been walking all day and I'm nearly done. Well, I see by your gravestone you was only 19 when you joined the great fallen in 1916. Oh, I hope you died well and I hope you died clean. Oh, Willie McBride, was it slow and obscene? Did they beat the drum slowly, play the fife lowly, sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band sound the last post and chorus? Did they pipe the flowers of the forest? Did you leave a young wife or a sweetheart behind? In some faithful heart are your memories enshrined. For although you died back in 1916, in that faithful heart you're forever 19. Or are you a stranger without even a name? Enclosed forever behind a glass pane, in an old photograph torn, battered and stained, and faded to yellow with brown leather frame. Did they beat the drum slowly, play the fife slowly, sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band sound the last post and chorus? Did they pipe the flowers of the forest? As the sun beats down on the green fields of France, there's a soft summer breeze makes those red poppies dance. And see how the sun shines from under the clouds. There's no gas, no barbed wire, no guns firing now. Oh, but here in this graveyard it's still no man's land. Those countless white crosses stand mute in the sand. And through man's blind indifference to his fellow man, to a whole generation who were butchered and damned, did they beat the drum slowly, play the pipe lonely, sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band sound the last post and chorus? Did they pipe the flowers of the forest? Now Willie McBride, I can't help wonder why all those who lie here now, why did they die? Did they really believe when they answered the call? Did they really believe that this war would end once? Oh, the sorrow, the suffering, the glory, the pain, and the killing and dying, 'twas all done in vain. For young Willie McBride, oh, it happened again. And again, and again, and again, and again. Did they beat the drum slowly, play the pipe lonely, sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band sound the last post and chorus? Did they pipe the flowers of the forest? I've heard the lilting at the milking, and I've heard the lilting before dawn of day. But now they are moaning on Ilkerbury lonely. The flowers of the forest are withered away. I've heard the lilting and the milking, and I've heard the lilting before dawn of day. But now they are moaning on Ilkerbury lonely. The flowers of the forest are withered away. Did they beat the drum slowly, play the fife lowly, sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band sound the last post and chorus? Did they pipe the flowers of the forest?
Was also the year that a 24-year-old Tylery lad lost his life. George Hunter had suffered a horrific industrial accident before the war, which had rendered him with his short-term memory ability. Signing up as a reservist, George went to fight in 1915, leaving behind a wife and 2 toddlers. His inability to remember orders and severe shell shock led him to be seen as a troublemaker and a deserter. Deeply troubled, George even tried to be discharged on medical grounds by deliberately self-harming, raising his hand above the trench on Christmas Eve to be shot off by German snipers. With limited medical supplies, George was patched up, given a suspended sentence, and sent back to the front line. Eventually, George Hunter ran away. He was arrested in Easingwold near York and dragged away from his beloved wife and children. Taken back to Ypres, his commanding officer determined that George's desertion needed to be used as an example to the other soldiers who had witnessed the horrors of the first day of the Somme. On July 2nd, 1916, George Hunter was led out at dawn and shot. His family disgraced and children removed from the care of George's widow. His name was never recorded in our book of remembrance. George R.W. represents all the soldiers that we have forgotten or who remain unknown and will now be forever remembered as Stockton's 1246th sunflower.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Children pick them, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the young men gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young men gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young men gone? Gone for soldiers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever? all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Covered with flowers, everyone. When will we ever learn? When will we ever learn?
The war changed everyone's lives. The soldiers who fought, those who died, those who survived but suffered horrific physical and mental injury. Lives were broken in two. Women stayed at home and became the workforce, the community, even the footballers. They would work to keep Stockton and Britain going, all the time living the horrific nightmare of waiting for a knock on the door, a telegram, or silence from the front. They fought their own battles and grieved day after day for their own or friends' losses. By the end of 1917, Stockton's fallen had amounted to nearly 800.
My lily of the lamplight, my own lily Marlene. My lily of the lamplight, my own lily Marlene. Underneath the lantern by the barricade, darling, I remember the way you used to wait. It was there that you whispered tenderly that you love me, you'll always be my lily of the lamplight, my own lily Marlene. My lily of the lamplight,
16 million people died in the First World War. 16 million. During 5 years of the bloodiest conflict, when guns, bombs, flamethrowers and chemical weapons were used for the first time, the world tore itself apart. This town was no different. Ordinary men, an umbrella maker, a potter, an ex-prison convict, foundry workers, school teachers, a barber and blacksmith, men who worked as labourers on the railways, down the mines and in the shipyards. The men of Stockton-on-Tees working hard to try and build a future for their town and their young families. When war broke out in 1914, these men left their families and their town to defend them and their country, but never returned alive. Some are buried in Stockton, others overseas, while many are just a name on a wall or in a book. Their bodies never recovered or given the decency of a burial. The Sunflowers Project has allowed us, all of us, to say goodbye, to say thank you, and to try and live better lives as a tribute for those who lost their own. We will never forget our 1,245 Sunflower soldiers. Their memories shine on in our hearts.
The
We will now observe a 1 minute silence.